Okay, so it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here. I'm Becky Buckman, and I'm a certified Eutaptics FasterEFT advanced practitioner, otherwise known as an upper level practitioner, and here with Joanna McGregor in Scotland. Hi, Joanna.
Hello.
Who's also a practitioner from the home study course. Yes, that was level 3 is where that went up to, and now studying the live Eutaptics.
Yes.
So just went through level 2. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Great. So we wanted to get together and just make another little video. We're going to try to come out with these fairly regularly, maybe once a month or something, every couple of weeks, just talking about what does it mean? What is Eutaptics? What is this FasterEFT tapping? And I actually have some questions that were submitted from a client who has been seeing me now. She's had 5 sessions, and then she recently, just last week, had a crossfire session. So for those who don't know what a crossfire session is, that is when there are 2 practitioners working at the same time with one client and tapping on you. So this is usually a live event, or a local event, not a Zoom or recorded event. And so they're both talking to you. They both, practitioners, take their intake and they both tap it on the same time. And it just really helps starts rearranging the furniture in your head, the subconscious and the conscious trying to battle over what's coming in and what to use, and which is the purpose in the big picture, one of the purposes, right? So you can't consciously focus on grabbing what the practitioner says and does it, and I'm going to change that and I'm going to let it go. But let the subconscious do the work. It knows how, right? It put it there to begin with. So today we talked about just our theme or our topic being kind of how we got started and what that means for folks, all the changes that start happening. So I'm going to present Joanna with a couple of questions and that I'll answer as well, but I certainly want to get your take on this. Mm-hmm. So what was sent to me via email by a client, she said that as she has started this tapping process, so for her it's been probably just a couple of months. Mm-hmm. She's had 5 sessions with me, but she does try to tap on her own. She said, I had a hard time knowing what or when to tap since I didn't know of anything besides my state of normal. Mm-hmm. She said, which was a sorry state. So let's just kind of start right there and knowing what or when to tap on your own. Mm. So
yeah, well, for me, I've always used my stomach to guide me, because I've got that as a symptom. But I know not everybody's got that. So I think to notice the thing that's bothering you most in your everyday life. Maybe a relationship, somebody you're not getting on with, or you're thinking about something that's about to happen in the next few days, or because we'll be recreating whatever happened in the past, in our present day everyday life. So that I do that a lot. I even if I see one thing more than the same, I don't know, somebody wearing a striped top or something stupid, if I see lots of people with striped tops on, or I don't know, I'm thinking, okay, what is this, or I don't know, if I keep bumping into the same different people saying the same thing to me, mm-hmm. I'm just because
the a pattern of something. Yeah,
but mainly I think it's what bothers you at the time, to address that for me.
Right.
What do you
Well, and I
think?
think the important word that she used in that sentence is that state of normal.
That's what I thought, yeah.
That we do have our own state of normal that we don't realize we've defined for it, and then we apply it to everything.
Yeah.
And I actually had somebody asked yesterday, they said something, a client said, well, isn't that normal, or is it something that needs to be addressed or something? I'm like, well, those are two different questions, because your normal, everybody's individual normal could seem wackadoodle to me,
Exactly.
and that's why it can bother us what somebody else is doing, or it doesn't even have to be a person. It can be an institute. It can be a whole system of something, and it bothers us because it's against our normal.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we start examining our normal.
Yes.
So if it's, I was once in a relationship that, we went to counseling because I was like, we argue all the time. Mm-hmm. They were like, no, we don't. I'm like, are you kidding? We argue, argue like mad, frustrated and all that, at least twice a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not normal.
No.
But, for my partner, oh yeah, that was totally normal.
Yeah. And that's what we do.
I didn't know about tapping back then. This was a long time ago.
And I think
left, which was my pattern. So talk about patterns, it was like.
And I think the heat of the moment, isn't it? The heat of the moment is
absolutely
brilliant to tap in.
But questioning what that normal is. So for my client now, she's saying, now she realized it was a sorry state, because her normal has been taken a long time just to fix lunch. She said it took an hour to fix lunch because of all the food, the allergies, the sensitivities. It could be normal. Some people are used to that arguing and raised voices. Families who are just, sometimes they'll say, oh, that's just cultural, the Italians, they're like that all the time, and then they turn around and hug and love each other. Where if that had been in my household growing up, there'd been a lot of hurt feelings and pouting. So questioning our normal.
Definitely.
Perfect place to start considering where to tap.
Definitely.
And if this is normal, do I want to keep it?
Yeah, exactly. It's what makes you happy. What you're happy with is what's right for you, really, isn't it? If you're happy with it. If it's normal and you're not happy with it, then you've got to change.
One of the questions that I present is, if somebody says, I really want a better sense of calm, let's say, just in general. And they don't know what that, it's not been normal for them. Their stress, which I'd say one of the most common themes clients tend to have, is a sense of stressed all the time that has become normal, or a feeling of overwhelm and stuck.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're going to come out of that, if you want something else, then sometimes I'll say, well, what's so important about this other thing? In other words, what's driving you, and is it much strong enough of a driver to want this other thing? That means you got to let go of something else. The normal part, where identity. Identity being there. So.
Yeah, definitely.
You seem pretty normal to me, Joanna, so.
Yes, I'm very good at conveying normal. I've had lots of practice.
Right. I'm normal when I step out of my house, but. Okay. So then she says, now that things are shifting, it seems like I need to tap on just about everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It can because it's just like things are getting stirred up, and I don't know, the unconscious kind of like, okay, you're doing that, this one needs done too, and then they all kind of pop up from nowhere. But I tend to think of it like an onion, the layers, and you just start gradually, and then and when that's done and that you're ready for the next one, then that'll kind of just deal with it and take your time and realize that it might not be an overnight thing. It could be for some people.
Persistence is definitely very important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gonna make
And knowing that as long as you keep going, you will benefit from it. It might be gradual every day, and you might not even notice it yourself every day, but you'll meet somebody that you've met for a few months and they'll say you look completely different.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like you look, I can't put my finger on it, but you look calmer or more peaceful or just relaxed or.
Yeah.
And another practitioner, Clara, has described it as, I think she's the one who I heard say this. It's like the magician who starts pulling a handkerchief out of their mouth.
Yeah.
And just when you think it's the end, another one comes and another one comes, and it's just like it just keeps coming and coming and coming. It's just linked together. Robert describes that, and I talk about it like the neural net.
Yeah.
That's all. It might be a bundle of things that are linked together by a sound or, striped T-shirts. And another piece of that bundle that's linked by tone of voice or the look. She gave me that look or something. And if you were to touch that net like it was a spider web, and just touch it and start pulling on it, that it just starts pulling all those other pieces too. Yeah. So, but they do start clearing up, everybody. They really do. It gets easier. Yeah. Be persistent. Yeah. If you find the bigger imprint, that primary imprint, and tap on that, just what and what's really intense, it will collapse the other ones. It will begin breaking down the others. They'll start showing up first. Yeah. Focus on the same one. That's excellent reminders to those who are very first starting to tap, and folks that are studying level 1. Yeah. To just pick the intense one that you can still bring yourself out of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go there and you can't get yourself out of it. You're just swallowed up by that trance. Yeah. It's too strong. You need to go to a practitioner with it. Yeah. But focus on that one thing. Other stuff will come to the surface, pop up, and just make note of it and know that this will be included. As I let this go, it let goes of all the references. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Everything it represents. Yeah. All the times I felt this way. Yeah. I let it go. Yeah.
I just found out in the past week or 2 weeks, years ago I'd done my family history. This is so fascinating. Anyway, I have tracked down that the bottom of all of my stuff is a story that I heard my granddad say about his dad, and actually his mother. So it's like, it goes back to like my great grandmother. So I have been being her. This is what I've been doing. And it's just amazing. But that is a strong, like you're saying, the strongest one, that for me is the strongest one. The emotions are the strongest. So I'm so excited because I know, it's just going to really, really, take off now.
Right. And that's those borrowed memories. Yeah. When somebody tells us about something else, it could be even our own birth, but the story of something that happened, or
Mhm.
whether it was a sad thing, tragic thing.
Yeah.
We create the images and the sounds and everything as we hear the story. And if we're small children hearing this story,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
storyteller
Yeah. It's so
is,
emotional.
is full
Yeah.
of emotion and they're
Yeah.
all in it, I mean, we love a good storyteller
Yeah.
because we're swept up in it. But if it's a tragedy about our own family,
Yeah.
or a sadness or something like
Mhm.
that, then our subconscious doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's producing the same chemicals.
Yeah.
It's, as if you were dreaming. It's
Yeah.
still the same thing, and it
Yeah.
becomes a borrowed memory, and we even have to change those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so that feeling of everything, that it seems like everything is
Mhm.
got to, oh, now I got to tap on, driving in the car, and I got to tap
Mhm.
on all the time it takes to make lunch, and I got to tap on the way my husband looks at me, and I got to tap on, my kids' teachers, and I got
Yeah.
to tap on, oh, now I got this pain, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
knock on wood,
Yeah.
and yeah, because it's an awareness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and because it's a beginning as well for her, probably that it's just everything's starting to come up at once. And but yeah, I think if you just give yourself time, chill out a bit, and know that it'll happen. It's just going to be bit by bit, But like I say, some people do have huge shifts as well. It's not always
absolutely.
low, is it? It can be the other way as well.
Right. And letting those things just be bundled
Yeah,
together. The
yeah.
thing that bothers you now, that you want to tap on because you don't like how you feel, like,
Hmm.
which kind of leads into the next part of her question,
Hmm.
is choosing, okay, I don't like this feeling. I feel nervous or scared or whatever.
Hmm.
And as you notice it, that's the aim part of it.
Hmm.
And then let it go. It's okay to let this go, and to let go of every time I felt this way. Right
Hmm.
now I'm feeling my fingers, letting
Yeah,
it go. Yeah. And it'll break down other pieces. It's almost like giving your subconscious a command,
yeah,
a suggestion. Yeah, in hypnosis terms, the suggestion. So
mm,
let's see. So yes, she says, it's amazing how much of the time I'm not choosing to be happy. I have to make a concerted effort to choose the good. And then she says, this is pretty common? Question mark.
mm. Yeah.
Short answer is yes.
Yes.
It's very common,
Yes. Yeah.
but it is a choice. We do get to choose.
Yeah.
And as much as we can just tell people that, choose to be
Yeah, and I
happy.
think what helped, it's always helped me when I could, because it's a trance you're in as well, isn't it? You're in this trance, whatever it is you're doing. So feeling the goods, you're not, maybe able to do that because you're in this trance. But what I always used to tell myself was, right, this is going to change because I can tap. Because I'm going to change this trance, I'm going to tap on it, and I'm going to re-imprint it, and I'm going to come out of it, and then I'm going to feel okay. And every time I did that, because if I got so much into this trance and I didn't know what it was I needed to tap on it to begin with, I just
Yeah.
knew, I don't feel very great, and then I found out what I needed to tap on, and then worked on it, and it always worked, because it works, the process works, and I always felt okay, after it. But I think when you're in it, and it can be a bit,
Yeah, even just being angry at somebody. Let's just say,
yeah,
something just, a driver cut me off, or even just seeing them, just being a bad driver, cutting somebody off, and I start, they're crazy. Oh my gosh, what a blankety blank driver, you could hurt somebody. And
Yeah.
that little piece can take a life of its own if I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
That, got to be careful about the drivers. I hate being on the interstate. It'll just start and without realizing that trance, like you were saying, I'm gripping the steering wheel and I'm like, grrr.
Yeah.
And I used to, this is one of the more subtle awarenesses I started to have. I used to be a driver, not that I was so aggressive, but I was, somebody acting crazy and they're driving and I'd flip them off, sometimes double flip, not that they would see me, but I was like cussing them as they whipped on by.
Yeah.
And I realized I don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that feeling at the time feels justified.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because but the safety of other people out there.
Yeah, because you're just in your trance so much.
Exactly, and I can make all the rationale for it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're completely justified.
So why would I tap on this?
Yeah. And plus, you enjoy it.
Exactly. And
so much fun.
Yeah, like. Well, that sense of righteousness, and I've had clients say, don't you think that's right? People know what's right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I don't, what's right for you, and I have to support, what's right for you. Does it feel good? Well, no, they piss me off. Do you want to stay pissed off? Of course, my husband was the first person I start speaking this way to, even before I started tapping, just kind of like, you can, do you want to stay feeling the way you feel right now? It's like, that question is a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, but I can't help it. Yes, you can. You actually can. Do you want to feel right? Or do you want to feel happy? And that's the letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody could have been hurt, but they weren't. Let it go. It's in the past. Let it go.
And even just making the decision to let it go even that is just sometimes enough.
Mm-hmm.
In itself for some people, I think.
Yeah. When I first started, I was still in level 1. I don't know that I had even gotten to level 2. This practice in swaps. You may know her. Heather McRoberts was one of my.
I used to swap with Heather.
Oh, I love her. I haven't spoken with her in a while. I think she lives in the UK.
Yeah.
And I still have a little note taped right here next to on my desk that she said, talking about the letting go. She said, "Can you imagine letting go of a brick?" And I was like, "Sure." She said, "Can you imagine letting go of a feather?" Okay, because it's very different. "Can you imagine letting go of a car?" Yeah. She said, "Now, can you imagine letting go of an idea?" And it was just that, applying that letting go. And that was really helpful to me. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. It's still the same kind of process.
Yeah.
But it's how we express it, that metaphoric expression.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Yeah.
Does it disappear? Does it float away? Does it get quieter? Whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So the last piece which we've touched on, making that concerted effort to choose the good. And then she said also old stuff seems to be showing up out of the blue. Hello, surprise. Hadn't thought about me in 30 years, have you? Yeah. Don't forget about me.
Well, I suppose that it goes back to the happy journal and using your happy journal and looking for lots of nice things to fill that with, things that make you happy, do things for yourself.
Put a smile on your heart.
Yeah, I think I like, for me, I like to think ahead, what I'm looking forward to. That really works for me.
Yeah.
And then I focus on it. And but really, for me, it's the tapping to take me out of whatever I'm in, and I find it easy then, because it's always like what Robert says with the glass. You know, if the glass is full of, you know what I mean, that word, how are you going to put anything into it? You know, these positive affirmations and, you know, whatever else. I think it's funny when he says that, because it's a rude word. I'm not going to say that. But
Because it's a rude word.
Yeah, better not. I'm just at episode 2. I better not swear yet.
I'll swear for you. It's normal for me.
Well, it is for me as well, actually. But yeah, so if you tap and you take some of that out the glass, then you can, you know, you can get all the good stuff and put all the good stuff in.
Right. If your head's full of crap,
yeah,
how can you pile good stuff on top of it?
Yeah.
You have to clean up what's there.
Yeah.
And I think that's very often the case, and it's talking about in the beginning that that letting go, get rid of it or whatever. But the letting go of the beliefs, letting go of the feelings is what lets us transform what's normal for us and what we expect, and because it's all us. It's all expressions of different parts of us. And I was tapping on somebody the other day, and she was really getting it, that she was, parts of her were not acceptable. Not that she was naming parts of herself, but she was, we did a technique called tap it down, tap it up. And it's just saying a belief, I'm not acceptable, or I'm not lovable, or I'm not good enough, something like that. And how much of it is true, and as we were bringing that down, because the theme in her intake, it was so obvious, even her happy feel goods was all about competition. So even with it was really hard for her to say was, and I could see it right there on the tip of her tongue, and she started crying. I said, this is the thing you've been afraid to say. Go ahead and say it. Because it still had power. She said, I'm not good enough. I said, find those parts that you think are not good enough. So as we tapped, and that started to shift, and brought in her own theme of the she'd been in many competitions, even as a baby. She'd been in beauty competitions as an infant. Wow. So her life started out competition, and then she had these memories of competing against her cousins for her grandparents' attention, and then she also did competitions, cheerleading competitions, anyway, everything was a competition. People at work now. She's only 24 years old. And she even saw it as she was describing through my questions, this competition. So anyway, as we were tapping, and the emotions started to change. And as I accept these parts of me, or quit comparing these parts of me, something like that, I said, that's like comparing my toe to my ear. This is why we're tapping. Yep, it'd be like comparing my toe to my ear. And she was like, they're both important. They're just different. That was her other piece, that she was very different. So it was not, those pieces were not acceptable. And because to me, that was that metaphoric expression of parts of us we don't want to look at. They're not going to be acceptable.
Yeah, definitely.
Comparing oranges to apples. They're just different. Comparing your toe to your ear, they have different functions. They're both important. So.
Yeah, definitely.
While you were talking, the last thing, I know I do 3/4 of the talking here, but there was one thing that came up was notice any resistance.
Mm-hmm.
That it's really important.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that because what persists.
And the more resistance you can notice, the better. Yeah, that's where you
Right,
need to go.
right. Because it's like put up a, this gatekeeper has come up and said, no, don't go there. That it's playing an integral part in, who I am.
Yeah,
It's got all this
definitely.
identity wrapped around it. And if you're
Yeah.
just willing to just tap, you don't have to even name it. Just notice the resistance. The part that says,
Yeah.
No, this is okay. I feel better. Be honest with yourself. If you don't feel good,
Mm-hmm.
then there's still some resistance. And behind that resistance is such a huge transformation.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Because we believe the lies that are going on in our head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. I know. Crazy.
Seems normal.
Yeah. Or normal.
Yeah. But that resistance, just letting that go, whatever it's protecting me from, whatever identity has been attached to it, it's okay to change it. You can change it back if you want. But I'll ask kind of the final question in a tapping round when there's some resistance to it, a question anyone can ask themselves. If you find yourself in a place like, do I tap on this or do I not tap on this? Well, is it something you would give to somebody else?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you're really pissed off about something, notice how you feel it. Now, is this something you would give your child? Is it something you would give your mother or somebody else, your best friend? Is it something you would give to somebody you cared about, like your best friend? Well, no, I wouldn't give this to anybody. Then why are you keeping it?
Yeah. And then you think, oh.
Let it go.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's about all I had on my notes to address for this little session of our.
Yeah, I think that's been good. And maybe the next one we could do like tapping for the first time and how to do that, and because there's things that came up when I tapped for the first time, and even tapping on myself, I feel a bit silly, and just maybe do more tapping in the next episode. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Yeah. FasterEFT tapping. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
I think that'd be really good.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we may start incorporating other practitioners to join us along, and
that'd be good.
Tap. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Joanna.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's good to speak to you too. Yes.
So we'll be doing another one probably in a couple of weeks, so that they become normal.
Yeah, our new normal.
Our new normal. That's right. All right. Well, anybody has any questions, you can contact me at becky@beckybuckman.com. And Joanna, your email address?
Yes, the one I'm using just now is joanna@purelyfastereft.com.
Excellent. All right. Till next time.
Bye.